Her Opinion Show, the podcast you didn't know you needed. Real talk, bold truth, her voice, her vision, her rules. Let's get into it.
Hello. We are back at Her Opinion Show, and today we're maybe a little serious. I don't know. We're talking about Houston. It's Houston.
I don't know. I kind of met him when he came in. He seemed pretty down to earth.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, his videos show he's down to earth. But if you're from Houston, you might recognize this face. But if you're not, this is Councilman Edward Pollard. Edward Pollard, welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and like we said, you are him to her opinion.
I see that.
Yeah.
I have to represent for all the men today.
Exactly.
You do. And show support for the ladies.
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
that's what we love about you. You're always supporting the women. I mean, that is something that we really admire.
Well, without the women, there would be no men, right?
Amen.
So.
Hey, I love that.
Okay, listen, it's raining right now. Either you brought the rain or it's
you know, it's Houston.
Exactly.
Our weather is very schizophrenic here, and so you never know what to expect. But I bet we never know what to expect on you all's show as well.
That's right. And hopefully the power doesn't go out.
Fingers crossed.
Exactly.
But you know what? Let's talk. Let's get real, because we're from Houston and we know that you're out in these Houston streets, especially in division. Is it District J?
District J.
District J.
Southwest Houston.
Southwest Houston. I know I grew up in Sharpstown, so I know that it can get crazy in that area.
And everybody knows Sharpstown.
Yeah, but wait, and not to mention that's kind of our community.
Yeah.
And they actually really love you.
Yeah, I mean, Sharpstown sometimes gets a bad rep. Southwest Houston doesn't have the best reputation at times, but I think it's one of the best areas of the city. We know that the city of Houston is very diverse, the most diverse city in America. 1 out of 4 people are foreign born in Houston. But in District J, we're even more diverse. And we have people from all different backgrounds. You have the Mahatma Gandhi district there, a large Latino population. We have Chinatown, the India House, the Turkish Center, the Vietnamese Center. You have all these different ethnicities and cultures, a melting pot of people in one area, and I'm proud to represent it.
Some of the greatest restaurants are over there.
Yeah, if you want authentic cuisine,
exactly.
You know, you can come to District J. You can go down, Bel Air or
some
Harwin.
of those streets aren't even in English,
right?
Those, we have some of the best mom and pop shops in there. The stories behind their success, people who come to this country with little in their pocket, with the American dream, they settle in Houston, and people support them to where they're there for generations.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, we know that obviously because we like to eat. And so,
as you can tell,
we like to eat, and you can find, I mean, like you just named all those cultures down that area, and for sure.
They're even in the same language as them. So
for sure.
Yeah. That's what I love about that. You got
every little block is a different vibe.
Oh yeah.
And I tell people all the time, you can taste the world right here at home. Mm-hmm. So come to District J, which I call J City.
J City. Okay, I've heard that. I've heard that on your videos. So tell me, you are in a lot of places. How do you make, I mean, listen, first of all, you're an attorney.
Yeah.
What made you want to become an attorney?
I was always interested in kind of how government was set up, even at an early age, the Constitution, the 3 branches, how laws were to come into place that govern what we can and cannot do. And so I kind of just geared towards law. And in college, I was a political science major. I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta. And really, I have an older brother who lives in Atlanta who is a political science major, and kind of followed in his footsteps to do that. But always wanted to be a lawyer. That's something that I gravitated towards. Mm-hmm. I wasn't the kid in school who loved to be at school and loved every single class, but something about history, something about government always was of interest to me.
Yeah, but you had to love it because it's a long time to become a lawyer.
Man, it is. You know,
those went to fun school.
Those three years of law school are tough, but it's so rewarding when you come out. I still practice every day. I do personal injury law. Mm-hmm. I try to step foot in my office on a daily basis, and still exciting.
Well, that's amazing.
Where are you from?
So I'm from Houston. I grew up in Southwest Houston, like the Meyerland, Westbury area. I went to all HISD schools, so I'm a big proponent in the public school system. And now I live in the Galleria area.
So what made you to go to college in Atlanta and then come back over here? Yeah,
so my older brother was living in Atlanta. I went to visit him a few times. And when I was in school, it was like the 2002 to 2007. And Atlanta was on fire. You know, Michael Vick was the quarterback. You had, T.I. and Jeezy and Sierra and Usher and the whole music scene was on fire.
So you thought of maybe entertainment law?
I did for a second.
Yeah,
and a lot of people want to go into entertainment law, and then you think about the success for a lawyer comes from their client.
Yeah.
The more successful clients you have, the more of a successful lawyer you are.
Yeah.
But if you're an entertainment lawyer, your clients are entertainers, which are very small percentage of the population.
Yeah.
So if you can't get the right entertainers, then you're not going to be a great entertainment lawyer.
Yeah, that's true.
So what kind of law did you start doing?
So I was interested in criminal defense.
Okay.
At one point in time, because you get to stay in court and it was real fast paced. But
you didn't pay very much?
No, it wasn't about that. People were calling my phone a lot about, hey, my mom was in an accident or somebody got hurt at my job. What should I do? I need a lawyer.
Yeah.
And the more calls I got, I said, I need to get into personal injury. And so that's how I started.
And those happen more frequently.
Especially
it's
here
raining right now.
Especially here in the city with the traffic that we have and the way people drive.
Listen.
And those potholes.
And those potholes.
No,
but it's true. I mean, this city is just a walking accident.
It's a lot of people driving fast. You have to be a very confident and aggressive driver to do well in Houston because, just because you put that blinker on doesn't mean people are going to let you over.
Sometimes I think I'm in Mexico.
And look, because they're not using a blinker.
Exactly.
And it's hard to adapt because, I mean, just saying from back when, I'm not going to say how far back, but like back when it was like you could get away with like driving, not using a blinker, speeding through, doing all these things. You have all these people that move to the city and don't understand. They're driving slow in the fast lane.
Yeah.
The fast ones trying to get around them in the other lanes. People are driving scared.
Yeah.
I think that's,
or maybe you driving real fast.
Probably.
Exactly.
Listen, I got tickets to prove it. But now, no. But I'm a cautious driver now. It was when I was younger, I would say that I was obviously whipping and through all that.
Well, we have a lot of traffic in Houston, which makes people a little kind of irritated and people want to get to where they're going.
And
so
construction.
They're speeding from, the city is always under construction.
That's never gonna
But
end.
that's because we're growing and everyone wants to be in the city. We have such a wonderful city with wonderful people and people gravitate here. And as people gravitate here, we want to build a city that they can be proud of. So you're always going to continue to have development and redevelopment.
How did you get into wanting to be in the political realm?
Yeah. So I did an internship when I was in law school where I interned for a state representative in Austin. And I spent my entire second semester of my second year working at the state capitol. And I remember one night I was looking at the state legislatures on the floor, and they were discussing bills and policies that affected our communities. I did not see a lot of young people. I did not see a lot of people of color, but they were discussing things that impact us every single day. And so I was like, I don't want to be on the sidelines. I want to actually be in the conversation. I want to be at the table. And so I told my parents once I graduated from law school that I would run for office. And that's exactly what I did. Right after law school, I got really involved in local politics. I ran for state rep initially a couple years out of law school, lost that first race, stayed out there, built relationships, got my name ID up, ran again for council a few years later and was able to win.
Well, that's amazing. And, the thing is, a lot of people don't do that. They may say it, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things we talk about is we've had some people on here, some other councilmen, we won't say their names, but I'm just kidding. But is that a lot of times we're so focused on who's the president and we don't start at home with our city.
Local politics are going to affect you on a day-to-day. And so I tell people the bottom of the ballot touches you on a daily basis. So your council members, your school board trustees, your county commissioners, your judges, these people are impacting you every single day. We all may know who the president is. We're following, national politics, but it's very hard to send the president an email and get them on your podcast, right?
Yeah,
or it's very difficult to reach out to the president's office and have them come to your back to school drive, right? But you can touch your council member, and your council member is the person that's going to deal with the potholes or deal with public safety. It's going to deal with the parks, the libraries, the issues that face you in your neighborhood every single day. And they are directly involved in ensuring that the taxes that you pay, you're getting the services that you deserve. And I tell people all the time, city council is really just a board of directors for the city. You all pay property taxes and sales taxes every day. And that money comes into the city, and the city has to allocate dollars based on what we get in. And so we put money towards streets and drainage and water and, parks and libraries. When you think about police officers, right? They're in their cars. Who's paying for it? Your tax dollars. The gas that they're putting in the cars. Who's paying for it? Your tax dollars. The uniforms that they have on. Your tax dollars. Everything.
I tried to say that the last time I got pulled over.
Really?
They didn't want to hear it.
Well, they may not want to hear it because they clocked you going 95 in a school zone.
Not even.
They're like, didn't I see you a few minutes?
Didn't I just pay my taxes?
Yeah.
No, but it makes sense. Obviously, it all we're paying for that. We're paying for them to, stop people from speeding and all those things. But it is like, this is what we're talking about when we say that, like, be involved. Because just because you're paying your taxes and you're doing whatever, be involved in your city. If you have an issue or a concern, it doesn't matter if you don't go and speak on it or show up.
I mean, if you're paying into the system and you want to see certain outcomes, why wouldn't you want to be a part of the process to lend your voice to say, hey, these are some of the things I want to see get done. The whole point of voting is to vote someone in to represent your interests. We all can't be at City Hall together, right? Everyone has their own jobs. You all are doing your own thing. So you say, hey, I vote for this guy. He seems cool. But this is what I want you to talk about when you get down there. You're not down there for yourself. You're there to advocate on our behalf. And if the community is not being receptive or stepping up to the plate to engage with their council member or their local elected official, then we don't know what you really want us to do. And then on the same breath, the local elected official has to be able to reach out to the community, has to be present within the neighborhoods to understand the needs and their concerns as well. So it's a marriage.
And that's like the misunderstanding, the misinformation that they think, oh, the most important are the president and the senator and all of these things. But really, it's the local.
The local politics is what's going to touch you every day. When your trash isn't getting picked up on time, you're not going to be calling the president. You're going to be calling.
I mean, I tried. He didn't answer.
You're waiting for him to get back to you?
That's what they said. Okay. I know he's going to call. Like my mom always says, no, the president told me. I'm like, please. But, all in good humor. But, all of this stuff we know. We just lives, right? We go through the motions, then something happens and we get pissed off. And we're wondering, well, who's doing and why? And this is when it boils down.
And that's sometimes too late. Guess what the average voter age is in the city of Houston election?
30
They're
something.
probably older.
40 something.
What do you say?
30 something?
You tell me.
Oh, I'm saying mid-30s.
Mid-30s.
I'm thinking maybe 40. In the 40s, yeah.
67.
Shut the
Oh, no
The average voter age in the city of Houston
That's when I'm waiting to vote.
is 67. It's mostly retirees, but they're the ones that seem to be the most engaged in neighborhood issues. And we have to find a way to get a younger audience and a more diverse audience.
I make my son, the moment he turned 18, I'm like, you're going with me. And we go and we vote.
Good.
Because I make him do that as a custom. Like,
and you want to get them in the habit of going, understanding why it's important, and then giving them some voter guides to say, okay, these are the people who are on the ballot. You should educate yourself. We live in an information age where you can pick up your cell phone and you can say who represents me, and the information is there. And now with Chat GPT, you can get all of the info.
Well, and that's when I was younger. Obviously, my parents didn't know much about that stuff, and I didn't know. So going to vote was like,
whatever my parents did,
you're just and then now you're absolutely right. There's no even if your parents don't know, you can easily Google, chat, whatever, and ask, who is this person? What do they stand for? And should I vote for them?
Once you know why it's important, it's our responsibility to educate our peers and people in our family and our coworkers on why it's important, right? All of the things that go on at City Hall or go on at the state capitol, they're dealing with these things every day anyway. They're having these conversations on why certain things are happening, but they're also not exercising their right to vote. And sometimes people are just voting to vote and not understanding some of the consequences behind it. And so I think, even having platforms like this where we can educate people on different topics, and you all are bringing in guests that are talking about the importance of voting, is going to make a difference.
Oh, one of the things that my parents always instilled. So my mom's from Mexico, my dad's from Colombia. And when they became American citizens, I was still really, really young. And they started voting. They're like, I'm going to exercise my right because in my country, whoever we vote for really doesn't even count because they talk about all the corruption. But they were just really instilled the importance of voting. So once I turned 18, I started voting. And that was one of the things that they really instilled in me. That
we take
counts.
we take it for granted here in the States. You know, the ability to vote, the opportunity to vote. We have 2 weeks of early voting. You can go anywhere around the county. You know, in other places, it's so many more restrictions. There's much more corruption. There's not really a true democracy. But we have all that here.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just don't understand how good we have it. And it's up to us in our generation to really push the importance and get more of a turnout. Right. So it can be more reflective of the city that we want to see.
Well, you know, we talked about District J, and you are sitting in District J with us because she's Mexican and Colombian, and I'm Mexican and Persian. Yeah. So we got a lot of culture. We got a lot of culture on this show, so appreciate you being here. Yeah. But, you know, all of that is the seriousness of it and how important it is. How do you reach the youth? We do see your socials, so you're doing way more than everybody else.
Socials is one of the main ways. You know, you want to bring people into your world, but doing it in a way that's captivating to them, something that's exciting, something that's new and fresh, something that's modern. And so we try to break down sometimes complex issues, but into mini reels. Right. And so we'll have a Wednesday wrap up that we put out that is going to go over something interesting that happened at City Council that week. We'll do what's called a Thursdays in the J, which is a more community based project initiative reel that will talk about something that we did in a certain neighborhood. And then we'll tie that into why it's important on even being involved. And we also try to do as many initiatives as we can within the community, things that target the youth, where we can actually go to them and not expect them to come to us. And so I have found it extremely rewarding to be on council. Time is moving very fast. I was elected in 2019. I've been on council for 6 years. We get 2 4-year terms. And so I have 2 more years left, and I'm trying to make the most out of it.
So you can't rerun, or?
I can't rerun for city council.
We know where he's headed.
So we'll see what happens next.
We'll see what happens.
I think we can figure that one out. But so your socials are doing well. Obviously, a lot of people see you, that you're in all of the community. You're at many events. I think that's a great way for the youth to see you. How do you reach them in school? How do you reach them at even a younger age to where it's like important?
Good question. So I also founded a nonprofit 10 years ago called Suits for Success. And it mentors teen boys on life skills. We put them through a semester-long course where they learn things they wouldn't learn in a traditional classroom setting. So like public speaking, etiquette training, resume building, interview techniques, how to tie a tie. And at the end of the program, we give them a free suit, shirt, and tie for graduation. And so I'm actually able to be inside these classrooms, speaking to them directly on topics that are important to them. And also being able to bring not only myself, but other young professionals in so they can see that we come from your neighborhood. We come from your community. And we were all interested in music and sports at one time, but we've gone into different professions, and we want you all to expand your horizon and be able to reach your full potential by thinking outside of just what your community says you can be.
Program.
And you know, I'll talk to a kid and I'll say, well, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? And they say, oh, I don't know. I'm not really good at anything. I said, you know, do you cook? Do you do what? Yeah, I know how to cook. You like to cook? Yeah, I love to cook. Have you thought about culinary school? Right. And then a light bulb goes off like, no, I never thought about that. Well, let's sit down and map that out. It's not going to be a 4-year university. You don't have to worry about some of the financial costs. You can be right here local. Let's look into that. Or let's look into a trade school or a community college or a vocation, right? Or maybe you want to look into being a part of the armed services. There's so many different routes, but I think it's really important to give them exposure. When they're exposed to things, then they can start to really imagine what they can ultimately do. And so that's what I take pride in.
And they don't have to be in your district.
No.
It could be anybody in Harris County.
For sure. We have... We focus on inner city schools, but we also have what's called boys conferences where we may set up at a church or at HCC and invite people from all over the city between the ages of like 10 and 18 and put them through similar courses.
Speaking of that, we would love to collab with you on that because we have a nonprofit, which is You Have a Purpose, and that foundation is for domestic violence. Cindy Romano is our president. You know Cindy from Mega 101. Anyways, with that, we're trying to reach the youth as well because it starts when you're young, domestic violence.
Yeah.
And especially if you grow up in it and then carry it on.
Yep.
And we don't talk to the youth. Like one thing that we talk about is that when you grow up around it and you go to school, it's like, okay, I'm leaving it. It doesn't exist. It doesn't, you go to school, act like everything's okay, but nobody gives the kids therapy in that situation. They grow up and then they might repeat that same cycle. They go into sports. They go into, next thing you know, there's a girl that has, there's preventative ways to deal with that. So that way that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we want to get with the youth and stop it before it becomes a problem.
Well, that's right on time, because we have a domestic violence prevention program that my office has created. And I think there's a lot of ways in which we can partner and find ways to bring not only prevention, but counseling and additional resources for people who are going through that.
Yeah.
So what do you think is kind of, I love what you're doing in the city. Some of the things and changes that you're doing right now to kind of help the city, move along, move forward, because you know how Houston, sometimes we're very traditional. What are some of the things that you're doing, some initiatives that you're doing for Houston?
So in J City, we had a long-standing issue when I first got into office that had been going on for a couple decades. And it was a stretch of Bissonnette between 59 and Beltway 8.
We don't want to talk about Bissonnette, but you're talking about Bissonnette.
that was known for a lot of.
We got to talk about it.
I know. We didn't know if you wanted to touch on
keep
that.
It real.
It was known for a lot of prostitution, trafficking, gangs, drug sales. Yeah. And I received a letter from a third grader when I first got into office who went to Betty Best Elementary right off of Bissonnette. And she was like, "You're our new council member. Are you going to do something about this prostitution? I see it every single day coming to and from school." And honestly, I did not know how to address that problem. It's such a complex issue. And we tried all types of different things to address it, and nothing was working, or it was only working for a short period of time. But we came up with an idea that we would start to barricade and close off the side streets off of Bissonnette after hours. So once the businesses closed at 6 o'clock, we would literally barricade the side streets so people could not go down them. And why we did that is because what we were seeing was people were coming to Bissonnette, they were seeing the women walking on the street, and then they would go off of Bissonnette down the side street and either conduct whatever they were conducting on the side streets, right? Mm-hmm. And so we want to change the traffic patterns and really not give outlets for them to go. And so when we started blocking off the side streets, the prostitution slowed down dramatically. Then we added to not only wanting to just remove the visible prostitution from the street, but how do we work with these nonprofits that are in the area to provide more resources and guidance and training for the women to try to give them an alternate way of life, right? Which is very difficult to do at times. Mm-hmm. And then also target where some of their pimps and handlers were kind of setting up shop. And so it was a comprehensive effort of not only trying to repurpose the street to not be known for such crime, but also give many options for the women who are involved in that lifestyle to get out of it. And now when you drive down Bissonnette and you go down that stretch, it's a completely different street. And I am probably most proud of that than anything, because not only are we trying to transform the individual lives, but all the businesses and the residents and the churches that are on that strip that have had to deal with that issue and could not grow because of it, or only was known for that, now have an actual respectable community that they can take pride in. And it's something that you can't deny. When you drive down that street now, you see it with your own eyes. And I think that's something that will be a part of my legacy.
You're absolutely right, because I drive that every day.
Yeah.
And it's protecting the children, because children should not have to see that, starting so young to witness things like that. That's horrible.
It's
but
difficult.
was that one of your hardest jobs?
That has been one of the most difficult, and it's ongoing because you have to continue to put effort and resources towards it. One of the things that was difficult representing J City is we have over 100 languages that are spoken in the district, and I only speak one. And so having those culture barriers and those language barriers to be able to provide resources and education and services, programs to that diverse of a community can be can be difficult, especially when there can be some apprehension or some fear about government being a part of their households, right? Or having them come out to meetings and having to engage with a local elected official. And so developing relationships, whether it's with a nonprofit or a faith-based group or some community leader, to then permeate within those certain communities to get information to them and have them be engaged with our office so that we can provide services has been the most challenging, but also one where I think we've seen the most growth because we have a lot of engagement with many different communities. And I've learned so much about the different communities and communities within communities, because some people will say the Hispanic community, but the Hispanic community is broken up into Colombians and Mexicans and people from Venezuela and El Salvador. And they're all different.
They're all different.
And you cannot...
Don't size them up.
Yes, you cannot assume people from Argentina think the same as people from Mexico, or the people from Mexico think the same as people from Colombia, or the people from El Salvador think the same as people from Chile. It's completely different. And then learning their culture and their outlook on things. And then same thing with the Africans. The Nigerians may think different than the Ethiopians, who think different than the people from Ghana, right? And so you have to deal with that. And then you're dealing with partisan politics, and some people are more conservative, some people are more liberal. It's a melting pot.
And whatever happened in their countries.
And so that has been a challenge, but a challenge that has been fun to navigate and to learn and to understand and embrace different cultures, different perspectives, different foods, different way of life.
Has anybody invited you into their home for home cooking?
Let me tell you, I've ate so many dishes, some that I love,
what's your favorite?
Some that I had to force down. But
what's your favorite?
I have been introduced to many Indian dishes that I've started to really like. I eat a lot of empanadas, and people make them all different ways, right? People make their tamales all different ways.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so many different things. And we have many, as we mentioned earlier, many different restaurants, Cuban restaurants and Colombian restaurants. And I'm always getting invited to come out. And I tell people what's crazy is everywhere I go, I'll only take or eat a little bit of food, not because I don't want it, because it's like the next hour I'm going somewhere else and they're offering food. And I gotta find a way to stay.
You don't look like you've been eating for
it takes a lot of effort.
I know that feeling because I started off as a food blogger. So people would be like, how do you eat all that food and stay skinny? I don't eat it all. You can't.
Just a little bit, and make sure you get into the gym at some point.
I take my food to my kids.
Yeah, exactly. Pack it up. But no, all of those things, is what makes, let me just say this. Out of all the districts and all the councilmen, I just see you. And I don't mean that nobody else is doing anything, but you're the one that I see all the time in the socials, at events, doing stuff. So that says a lot about you. That says, yes. I
really enjoy it. I think I don't take it for granted. People put me in this position to represent them, and the opportunity has been grand. To be at my age, I got elected, I think I was 34, maybe 35, and to represent such a diverse area and such a significant part of the city. Every day I'm waking up with a challenge. Every day I'm waking up with an issue, and I put my all into it, and I try to have as much fun with it as well. And social media just gives you an opportunity to bring people into your world. But for that, they wouldn't even know what you're really doing. And since I feel like we're doing some really cool stuff, I want everyone to see it.
Right. And that's what people get confidence in you, seeing you a lot. Because a lot of times they don't trust their government because they see them on TV, but they don't see them out there.
Sometimes the biggest thing is just to show up. I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me.
Exactly.
And we can have difference of opinion on things
and vote differently.
But just showing up and having mutual respect means a lot. And you can't really represent people unless you show up and talk to them directly.
What do you suggest? Because we've seen that in the past couple of years in elections, is where people are on two sides of the fence. They don't want to see it in the middle. They don't want to be friends anymore. But as a politician, you don't get to just shut down because things aren't going one way, you know?
Yeah.
How do you suggest dealing in this time frame of where people are so divided?
Yeah, politics is very divisive right now, and I try to lead from a different standpoint. I am unapologetically in the middle. I'm very moderate. I am a centrist. I respect different opinions and perspectives, and I think you can only have true progress when there's some type of compromise, when there's some type of conversation from varied interests to where you can then take those differences and find a common bond. And so in my district, where we have this diversity, you are forced to have an open mind. If you don't have an open mind, then the people are really not going to be receptive to you. And so I try to lead by example of being quiet a lot of times and just shutting up and listening, and then allowing them to know that I respect what you're saying, even if I don't agree. And then my response to them in a certain tone on trying to find some type of compromise. And if we can't, do it in a respectful manner to where we can move on and hopefully do something else. But in this political world that we live in, when you watch Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, it's always tit for tat, you versus me, them versus us. And I think if we continue down that path, you're going to always see chaos, and you're always going to see confusion. And I think that's why people lose trust in government, because most people are more middle. Most people just want to have a safe neighborhood. They want to have enough money in their pockets to provide for their families, and they want to have a healthy life, right? And have an education system that can give their children an opportunity. We all can agree on that. We may not have the same path in getting there, but most people will agree on that. And if we can find ways just to sit down and talk to each other as human beings and not as Democrats or Republicans, or, Hispanic community and the Black community, or the white community and the Black community, then I think we'll get much more accomplished.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cheers to that, because I love that. More people need to speak that language.
I know.
There you go.
I mean,
Vote
you
for
said it. You said it the way that it needs to be said. That's it.
And that's
Thank
what
you.
makes you relatable, I think. And, you go to people, they don't have to come to you. And that's important. Like you said, some people they don't trust, they're not coming to you. So you got to go into their communities. You got to go to their churches. You got to go to eat their food.
Correct. Because I'm big on you have to, if you expect people to support you, you have to go support them. Right?
Yeah.
If I see you all out in an event and I'm trying to push something that I'm doing, but you're inviting me to do your podcast or inviting me to do something that's important to you, and I'm not showing, it's like, why am I going out of your way to support you then? So I think if in my line of work,
You hear that, friends?
Yeah, in my line of work, when you depend on other support, it's important for me to show support to them.
And we love that you support women. So we've seen you in several
Women's
occasions,
events. Yeah.
women's events.
Yeah.
Where you're
Recognizing women.
Recognizing women. And that's something that I feel like is dear to your heart. Is there some kind of background to that? Or
Well, I come from a strong mother. She passed away a couple years ago, but I lived in a single parent household and saw her sacrifice, saw her struggle, saw her love and her nurturing ability to do all that she could to provide for me and give me an opportunity to get to where I am today. And I see that reflected in so many other mothers and sisters and aunts and grandparents across the board. And their stories need to be told. Their sacrifices need to be acknowledged. Their value needs to be upheld, right? And so now that I am in a position to have a platform and a voice, it shouldn't just be for men, which always seem to get the spotlight and the attention. It really should be to also champion women. And women are doing some amazing things out here. And you cannot deny it in any industry space that you look. Women are on the rise. And even at council, we, for the first time in the city's history, have more women council members than men, right? When you look at our judicial benches, you see more women on the judicial benches than men. We have a woman who is the county judge. We had a woman who was the district attorney. We had a woman that was running for president. Like this is a time in which women are showing that they don't have to just play the background anymore and always just be the backbone, but they can be at the forefront. They can lead and be supportive at the same time. And I think that's something that we all need to not only appreciate, but recognize as well.
And I think it's an inspiring time. And I think a lot of people are so busy focused on the negative and not looking at the positive that's happening around us. And there's a lot of that, like you said. And there needs to be back to the men supporting women, women supporting men. I mean, we've kind of lost focus of the older generational, things that's meant something. And so we appreciate that. We appreciate when men show up for women and women show up for men.
Because I see sometimes at these women empowerment groups or meetings or seminars, it'll be women speaking to women breathing life into other women, which is important. But I think it's also important for the women to see men show up and do the same thing, that they're not just talking to each other, but they know that they have support from us as well.
That's definitely, yes, for sure, on this show especially. But another, because to lighten it up, we've been talking a lot of politics here, and the city, of course. What would you say, because I think this is a debate that goes on out here in these streets, especially, in Houston, but with single moms, we touched on that, and we talk about dads, baby daddies, whatever, and the fight of child support.
Okay.
If you had to stand up for that and say, what would be the best resolution for that? Because I think we see a lot of people that argue that, oh, she's a single parent, she's spending all the child support, or dad shouldn't pay child support, or why did the moms only get the kids? Like, how do you feel that should be, or make it into a positive look on that? So
I think we always have to first, put our focus on what should be the main priority, and that's the child, right? And what are the parents doing to ensure that their child is in an environment where they can thrive? And that's going to come from not only child support, which is financial, but it's going to come from just overall support. The way in which you nurture your child, the time that you spend with your child, just talking to your child about their problems. When they have an issue, they're being comfortable enough to come and speak to you. Everyone may not have the financial means to pay as much as they need to pay, or that the other person wants them to pay, but can you pick up that value in other ways, right? And I think it's also important for the parents to understand that regardless of what their relationship situation is, they're going to be tied together through that child going forward, right? Yeah. And so they have to be mature enough to also have those conversations. The same way that we talk about Democrats and Republicans needing to sit down and just be amicable towards one another, not having to always agree, but having real respect. The parents have to be able to do that as well. And if you're going to be, going through the act to have a child, you're going to have to take all the responsibility that comes with that. I'd rather individuals find ways to resolve their issues without having to go to court and create all this animosity and this spitefulness and have emotions rise around litigation. It would be much better if they could think of the child, put the child first, and find ways in which they can sit at the kitchen table and handle it accordingly. But child support is going to always be something that is contentious. Some people try to weaponize child support and say, hey, you're either not paying it, so you're not going to see your child, or I'm going to put you on child support and it's going to garnish your wages to where the other person feels like they're getting the short end of the stick. And I think if you're going to weaponize child support, know that you're only causing more issues for the child. You're not causing necessarily more issues for the other parent. You're causing those issues for the child. And so that should always be the main focus.
Well, I don't know if you agree with him or not, but that's his point of view. That's always going to be a hard one to tackle. I mean, because you never know what everybody's situation is. You
do those controversial isgies.
That's a good, hey, he answered it correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
But
politically correct.
Yeah, politically correct. Everybody in the background's like, whatever.
Give me my money.
Exactly.
Run me my money. But, it's very hard. And if you do get child support, then you're lucky because it's hard out here. And just, there's never a right number to it. I mean, it doesn't matter if you sit at a table. There's never, no one, that's the hard thing to do. But moving on from that, back to Houston, what do you have coming up? So what are you working on? What are your top
priorities for the last 2 years, right?
So right now, I'm really focused on employment. I feel like finding ways for people to have meaningful employment in the city is a direct correlation with everything else. It will impact public safety. It impacts housing, homelessness, mental health, just having a good, stable, and good paying job. And so we've put together a platform called morejobshouston.com. And it is a website that provides thousands of openings all over the greater Houston area, as well as resources for interviews, for resume building, how to seek jobs, and also tools for learning when is the next job fair and when is the next career training. And so we really want to focus on jobs. We want to find ways to put money in people's pocket, give them an opportunity to find employment that is meaningful to them. And I think if we do that, our overall economy will be stronger and our city will thrive. Our city thrives based on taxes, as we talked about earlier. So the more money you have in your pocket, the more you can go out and spend. The more money you go out and spend, the more taxes we get. Mm-hmm. The more taxes we get, the more services that we can provide. And so that is one of our main focuses right now. So I encourage people who are looking for a job or know someone who's looking for a job to go to morejobshouston.com. Check out the website. It's updated every single week. And this is for people who have postgraduate degrees all the way to entry-level jobs. There's something there for you.
Well, everybody always needs a resource to find a job. That's for sure, especially the youth. They're coming out. Sorry, I got ice in my mouth. They're coming out of college and they're having a hard time to get a job.
Yeah.
You spend all that time in college, which is why we say don't not look at trade school, because trade school, I feel like you can come right out and get a job right away. But what is the problem now that you're seeing with kids coming out of college and having that problem?
Yeah, it's very competitive out there right now. And I think that, relationships are more important than anything. Most people are getting jobs today based on someone that they know or an opportunity that presented itself that they took advantage of. It's very difficult, I think, just to go online and just submit a resume, right? Even though we have a website for job openings, I would always tell people and encourage people to submit your resume, but also try to find the hiring person on LinkedIn. Send them a message. Maybe show up in person to an event. When you go to these networking happy hours, it's just not about wearing the cute cocktail dress or the man having on like a nice suit. Like, come with the business cards. Come with an action plan. If someone gives you a business card, don't just like have it in the cup holder of your car. Like, go home and send that person an email, right? And I think it's the extra steps that you take that will help you get the job, because on paper, everyone seems impressive and you're just another piece of paper in the stack. But if you take those additional steps, I think it gives you a higher likelihood of finding something for you.
Well, we love everything that you're doing, but before we wrap up, we want to do something like a little rapid fire.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So we're going to read you a few scenarios and you're going to say either pass the policy or block the budget.
Okay.
So you can say what you feel, so once we tell you the scenario, you can say what you feel if you want to keep on talking about it or just not say anything at all. Right. So the first one, make crawfish season a city holiday.
I would pass the policy on that. Yeah. I mean, crawfish is something that brings people together. It's something that people look forward to doing every single season. And I think it's something that's fun, and I think it's something that gets people out of the house and getting able to talk and enjoy camaraderie. So yeah, let's pass it.
It's pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for a little bit, but people love it.
Oh yeah.
And so why not? Let's pass it.
That day's gonna be.
I know.
Gonna be popping, right?
Not enough crawfish. Okay, so the next one is ban people from merging last minute on 610.
Let's ban it.
Yeah.
Let's block the budget on that one. Yeah, because for one, we want people to drive safe, right? We want people to do things the proper way, and it's already enough craziness out there that we don't want to add to.
I don't know if you've ever driven, but I'm on 288, and to get on 610 from 288 going north, I mean, they will cross 4 lanes to get off
59.
All over.
Right?
All
How
over.
is
Every
it?
exit.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right.
And those are Houstonians.
Yeah, exactly. So every city council member has to do a TikTok once a month.
Pass.
That'd
Pass
be
the
fun.
budget on that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's pass that policy. For one, I mean, TikTok is an avenue to give information. A lot of people receive their news and their updates on social media.
I do.
And so
For real.
if we know that, then let's try to get the information to the people in those type of creative ways. So I'm all for it.
Okay. Put Beyonce on the Houston dollar. You know you got to answer that one right.
I'm going with pass
gonna
on
be
that.
political.
No, I'm going with let's do it. Beyonce is the queen. Beyonce is the queen. I'm not a part of the Beehive.
I was going to say, if you don't agree, the Beehive's coming for you.
But I respect the Beehive, and I think she has done an incredible job at not only representing our city well, but really showcasing her talent in a professional way. You don't really hear about Beyonce being a lot of scandal and a lot of drama. I think her presence and the way she carries herself, her being a strong mother and someone who advocates for
she's
others.
getting a street
Yeah.
in District J.
It's something that we gotta give props. So shout out to Beyonce.
Okay.
All right. So replace, this is kind of funny, replace potholes with mini trampolines. Turn danger into fun.
I'm gonna have to block the budget on that. But we do need to do something about these potholes. I know it's always a very important issue to voters. It's something that they see and they feel every single day. The city is always growing. But Houston streets are bad. And we
Let
have
me
to,
tell you a
yeah,
funny-
we got to find a way to
It
improve
wasn't
it.
in your
Belfort kills me.
district, but I was going to my office, and because of a pothole, I got a flat tire.
Yeah.
I ended up going to a dealership and bought a new car.
Yeah.
Wait, let me
oh,
tell you.
wow.
I did.
A whole new car.
A whole new car.
Wait, let me tell
That
you.
may, be
right now.
that may be something that's
tell
a
you.
positive.
Let me tell you this story. So I'm driving. I was young then, but I'm driving down West Belfort, hit a pothole, get a flat tire, pull over, call my ex and say, hey, I just got,
Oh,
can
there
you
you
come
go.
help me? He drives, falls in the same pothole, gets a
Oh,
flat
Lord.
tire.
Oh, wow.
We both stuck on the side of the road with two flat tires. I was like, how the hell?
Yeah.
I'm like, Houston
Yeah.
streets do you
That is Houston for you, for sure.
Golly. Okay, so the next one is annual citywide shut up and listen day. No talking, just action.
All for it.
Yeah, that one makes sense.
All for it. I think that people talk a lot, but we need to listen to each other more.
Mm-hmm.
We need to put our thoughts into action. And sometimes it's better to be quiet and be still and just let your work do the talk for you.
So wait, the funny thing about this is I used ChatGPT for this write-up.
Right.
And I happened to put fondren in. So that's why I keep saying fondren
I know, I'm
for
like, why is
everything.
fondren?
Listen, chat.
The
Okay.
next one says rename Fondren to Pothole Parkway until it's fully fixed.
No, we gonna block that. I don't want to put too much negativity on
Poor
Fondren.
Fondren.
Shout out to Fondren and all the businesses and
Yeah,
families off of
no,
Fondren.
It's not just
It's
fondren.
not,
Yeah.
it's not just Fondren.
Okay, so then the next one is mandatory food truck rodeo on Fridays at City Hall. Ooh, that would be
sounds
fun.
pretty cool.
Bring it to the
Yeah.
City Hall.
Yeah, I think having
Bring 'em
designated areas for food trucks to be and for people to know where they are so that they can enjoy different types of creative food options
Yeah.
is something cool. But the best part about that is you're bringing them to City Hall. So what I would do is have the food trucks there to bring the people to get the food, but then also try to bring them into the importance of why we're doing things on their behalf at City Hall and engaging them on issues that are important to
Or
them.
market day at City
Yeah.
Hall.
Yeah.
We have those type
Oh,
of
you
things.
do? Okay.
We got to start
Yeah.
to promote it better.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so
yeah.
because we said we're only seeing you, so
Yeah.
you got to promote it.
There you go.
You gotta. All right. City subsidized coffee for moms and council members only.
Well, that's kind of weird.
I
But
know
okay.
that was
Subsidized coffee? Nah, I'm not.
Nah.
Nah, we're gonna block the budget on
And
that.
we're
It's a pass.
moms, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to say.
we're
Yeah.
gonna block the budget.
Okay,
That was-
ban. This one's kind of ban pineapple on pizza unless it's from a Houston-owned spot.
Well, I'm always gonna be supportive of Houston-owned spots, but I love pineapple
I
on
do
pizza.
too.
So
I don't mind it, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, is like anything Houston, we're gonna support.
we're gonna support the.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna
right.
support local business.
Well, that's our wrap up. So
that went by fast.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time.
and those were fun. Those were fun. Yeah. Look, there it goes.
There it
We're down to
goes.
0.
So
So
give
any
us.
last minute words?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you all again for having me on here. You all can find me on all the different social media platforms under my name, Edward Pollard. If you see something that I'm doing that you want to be involved in, hit me up. I check my DMs just like an email, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Even if you got a pothole problem, right?
That's
Even
right.
if especially if you have a pothole problem.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok, but not as active, so I need to get better at that.
Yes, and you definitely might. He might have to do a TikTok dance for his next video.
We may work on that. We'll
have
see.
to see it. We'll have to see it.
Well, thanks for being here again, and until next time, we'll see
Yes.
you guys later. Cheers.
Cheers.
you.